Alright guys, I know you can barely see me, but tonight I'm going to show you what it's like really being a mobile mechanic. You got to have your vehicle to be a mobile mechanic, right? Well, sometimes that vehicle needs to be fixed or needs to be worked on or maintained. So tonight we're going to be doing an oil change, checking all the fluids, all that good stuff on my personal vehicle. It's going to be the 2006 Chrysler Town & Country. We're going to go ahead and get started with the oil change. Step one, we'll go ahead and turn the light on for you. You want to get you some ramps or jack it up. I find it easier to just use the ramps on this particular vehicle. And so once you get that done, you get on down here. You got your oil filter there, and you got your drain plug right here. Looks like that little gasket on there is leaking. I'll probably better replace that while I'm up under here. So I'm going to go ahead and get that filter spun off and get the drain plug out, and we'll get it draining. I'm going to set y'all right over here. Maybe. Move all these damn leaves out of the way. Y'all can hang out right there. There we go. Now, a lot of times on these vans, it's going to be a 13 millimeter, but I've replaced my oil pan before, and it came with a 16 millimeter, so that's what I got now. And half the time I forget, and I get a damn 13 anyway. Luckily this time I remembered. Also, I'm definitely several days behind. Probably a week or so ago is when I should have done my oil change, but I have not. Go ahead and get all this drained out of there. I'm gonna go grab me a filter wrench so I can start loosening this filter up. It's a little too tight to get off by hand. Alright, now we'll go ahead and twist that sucker off. There we go. Scoot this bad boy back. I love when they give you enough space to drain the filter and the oil from the pan at the same time. Kind of saves you just a tad bit of time. I'm going to go ahead and try to find a new one of these because it looks like it was leaking finally. I don't usually replace it, but sometimes you have to. And this is one of those times. So I'm going to go ahead and, well, it's going to be hard to do with one hand maybe. But yeah, I'm going to replace that. We'll get this filter off of there. Jeez, that thing is hot. I'll set you guys over here real quick. I'm gonna get that dang filter over there. Whoo boy, that's hot oil. Been driving around all day doing jobs. This morning I did a rear brakes, just the pads on a Chevy Tahoe, and then I went to do a belt on a Chevy Malibu, but that guy had already taken it apart, and I don't work on stuff that customers have already taken apart. Let me go grab this oil filter and this gasket or whatever for that. I'll be right back. Alright. Even got the same type of washer this time too. Looks exactly like the one I took off. Very nice. We'll go ahead and put this bad boy back in. And put a little lube on there. Spin her on. Come on now, line up. There we go. go ahead and tighten it down by hand, and then I'll give it just a slight snug with that, and we'll call that good. Take my 16 millimeter, tighten this up. Okay, I'd say that's good. Now we're gonna move up top. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab me a filter, throw these gloves out. Gotta clean that shit up too. Always fun doing a full day of jobs and then coming home to work on your own stuff. But, like I said, I was about a week behind or something like that on my oil change, and who knows how long or how many miles I've driven in that time. So we got our good old Walmart oil and Walmart oil filter. Don't judge me. It's cheap, and this vehicle is a work vehicle, and I think that this Supertech oil works just fine for my vehicle. Doesn't bother me one bit. Alright, pour that 5 quarts up in there, that nice golden oil. Good old 3.8 liters done me well, I'll tell you what. I've had 2 of these vans, and they've both gotten to extremely high miles. We're up at 216 right now. We probably got a while to go too. Hopefully, anyway. So I'm not trying to shell out another 3 to 5 grand, maybe more, for another work vehicle. It's one of the reasons I like these so much, is because they're pretty reliable. They're fairly easy to work on. And if you do need to get a new one, it's like 3 to 5 grand, you go get you a new one. I know that some of you guys have mentioned the Ford Transit vans or the pickup trucks and stuff like that, but for me, you know, vehicles are just like anything else. They're going to wear out eventually, and you're going to need a new one. And I'd rather get something that costs 3 to 5 grand than to get something that costs, you know, 7 to 10, maybe more. And then you still will probably have to get a new vehicle in the same amount of time, just because that's the way the world works. A lot of times, you know, you'll spend some money on a car. Sorry, I'm cleaning my filter out with some brake cleaner. You'll spend some money on a car and everything's good, and you maintain it, everything's good, and then some asshole wrecks into you or something. So it seems like every few years you're just gonna get a new vehicle anyway, so I try to keep it cheap. Alright. Okay, so we got the oil all filled up. I'm gonna go ahead and see what my coolant level looks like. So it was a little low the other day. That's a little bit low again, shit. Not crazy low, but I'm definitely gonna add. But the van should be good to drive another day. So go ahead and pour some of this here coolant in the radiator. I must have a small coolant leak or something, because this shit was totally full a couple days ago. Well, I guess it's probably been 3 or 4 days since I added some, but I randomly turned the engine off and noticed that coolant was boiling. I heard that sound, and I never hear that when I shut it off, so I checked the coolant level, and it was definitely a little low. So I might have to check that one of these days, but right now I think it's damn near 9 p.m. And this van is lucky it's getting the oil change at this time of day. Like I was saying, I did those brakes on the Tahoe earlier. And then I did I was going to do the belt on the Altima, but the guy took it apart. But after those two jobs, I went and did another brake job. A Nissan Altima 2015. Did a front brake calipers, front rotors and pads, and then I know I had another job today. I'm trying to remember what it was. Got these wire brushes here. Got negative cable. We'll get her all cleaned up a little bit. Maybe spray some of this shit on there. Right on. Okay. Now comes the purple stuff. Better not have no corrosion no more. Very nice. Alright guys, I think that's about all we're going to do for the evening. Not too much, not too bad, but got to maintain your own vehicle sometimes, and sometimes that means it's going to be late at night. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me this evening. I'm going to go inside, get showered up, and chill. Till next time.